welcome to this video where we'll be looking at what the Java programming fundamentals are, specifically using a Hello World example. This video is to teach you how to write your first Java program and what tools to use. Specifically, we'll be looking what an IDE is, how a program structure looks like in Java, the syntax of Java code, and naming conventions. Let's start. Here we have an IDE, which stands for Integrated Development Environment. It is like a digital workspace for programmers. It's a software application that brings together all the tools needed to write, edit, and test code in one place. With an IDE, programmers can write code more efficiently and debug errors easily, making the progress more smoother and faster. This one specifically is called Intelij. Another popular one is called Eclipse. JetBrains, which is the company that provides Intelij, also has a community edition which is free and a student one for the unlimited version, which is like the premium version. So you can get that for free if you're a student. If having this app seems a little bit too daunting with the setup and everything, there are always online IDEs for you to write your first code. I will link some in the description for you guys to try out. So let's look a little bit at our IDE. We have here our coding space where we write all of our code. Then on the left side we have our project structure. So this is a typical Java project. We have the name, and then the most important one is the SRC, which stands for source. We can start creating folders and then the actual code. So this folder is named package. When you hear package in Java, it pretty much is the folder name. And here at the bottom, we have our output console. So when we run our code, which we'll do in 1 second, whatever the output is, we'll have it in here in this little box here. You can also run directly your code here. Then this one is also very important for programmers. It's called the debug run. Whenever you're debugging your code, you would select this one where you can check each line to see if it's actually working the way you expect it to. The rest are not important for the beginning, so let's look at our actual code. As mentioned before, first line we have our package, which is here called Java examples. Here we have our class named Hello World. Classes are a blueprint for creating objects, but this is more for object-oriented programming. If you're interested in that, I have planned to create more in-depth videos about object-oriented programming in Java. But for this example, this class serves as a container for our main method. Now, fourth line, this part is probably the most important one in Java. It's called the main method. The main method is the entry point in any Java program. Without this, you cannot run any Java program. So don't forget to write your main method. Now here, our fifth line, we have our first line of code. Here we have system out println hello world. What this does is it prints out whatever we put in here, which is a string, and we output it here below. So we can run it and see what happens. And here we have it, hello world, which is exactly what we have written here. Now let's look a little bit about the syntax of everything. Our classes always start with a capital letter and then follow with the capital of each following word, which is called camel case. So whenever you hear camel case, it means you put the words together without any space in between, but you separate them by starting with an uppercase letter. Now, methods and functions, they always start with a bracket and a closing bracket, and each line of code has to finish with a semicolon. Let's look at how an additional function would look like here. Here we have a new function called print hello, but we see it's a little bit grayed out, and our IDE already tells us, hey, it's never been used. So that means we would have to call it inside our main method so that we can actually use it. If we start writing, our IDE already helps us to say, hey, you can use this one. And now it helps us and says, oh, you need to write a string. So here we can just write any random name. And yeah, let's run it and see what happens. So yeah, here we have two things printed, the first one and then the second one. Here for our methods, the naming convention is to always start with a lowercase and then keep the camel case. So we start with a lowercase and then each following word is written in uppercase. The same goes with variables. If we create a variable, we always start with a lowercase and then keep with the first uppercase. And then we ended with a semicolon. One last thing I would like to show you guys is how we write comments in Java. Documenting when programming is super important because it helps us understand what we wrote and it helps others understand what you wrote. So here we can have a comment which is first written with 2 slashes, and we can write any information about our method. So we say so these 2 slashes are just for one line. So if you wanted to keep writing, you would have to again put double slash. If we have too much to write, then you can use the block comment out, which is slash star, and then we can write as much as we want. And here our IDE already helped us with this, and we can see by finishing our text with a star and a slash that this is just a comment. What's also very useful is to use comments to help you create your to-dos, what are missing in the code. So we can have here to do and it already highlights it. So for this to do, we can say print age of person. There we go. That's it for this video. I hope you guys have a good foundation to write your very first Java program. Hope to see you soon. Love ya!